In today's teaching, I would like us to look at 5 criteria to lasting kingdom relationships. And this will be coming from Ruth chapter 1 from verse 16 to 17. But before I read that, I would like to say a few things. We serve a relational God, and relationship seems to be the focal point of his attention and dealings with mankind. Several scriptures illustrate how much God is interested in outstanding relationships. It was the love of relationship that caused him to sacrifice his only begotten Son, Jesus. He cherished relationship to a place where he had to implement a plan in order to redeem mankind after the fall. Relationship is also important to the Father because his dealings on earth are closely knitted with his relationship with man. For the most part, man seems to be his contact and access into the earth. Amen. Now, your desire to be in a relationship and see it succeed is a God-given desire. Sometimes what makes relationship fail is our inability to see that relationship is God's intent and desire, and he is the master of relationship, and that our approach and success in any and every relationship should be based on his criteria. So by criteria, we mean a principle or standard by which something may be judged or decided. Amen. Several criteria can be used and should be used to determine a lasting kingdom relationship. By lasting, we are not necessarily referring only to a lifelong relationship, but also to the degree of success of a relationship. And this is so because we also know that relationships are seasonal. The fact that a relationship is successful does not mean that it will always be there. We need to be very sensitive to the move of the Father in this area as well. Amen. Relationships have the potential to succeed and do succeed when done according to God's standards. Amen. Irrespective of how many times you have been disappointed in your relationships, I want to encourage you that relationships do work when done according to God's standard. It is God's gift to mankind and it has the potential to succeed. Amen. Do not let your disappointment be the reason why you discredit the idea of relationship until you get to a place where you begin acknowledging that 1, relationship is God's idea. 2, there are God-given principles that must guide the process of relationship. And 3, your relationship with God himself is what determines your success in any other relationship. In other words, your relationship with God precedes your relationship with man. Until you get to a place where these 3 points are settled within you, relationship will always remain a mystery and a no-go area for you, or just something that you were never meant to succeed in. And I just want to encourage you that you should not accept this lie from the enemy. Amen. So for our studies today, I just want us to look at 2 characters, Naomi and Ruth. And we will be reading from Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 to 17. But briefly, a little background on this story as we delve deeper. As a result of a famine in Bethlehem, Judah, Elimelech took his wife and 2 sons to settle in Moab. And while in Moab, Elimelech died. His sons Mahlon and Chilion later married Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah, respectively. Then 10 years later, Mahlon and Chilion died, and Naomi was left with without a husband and children. Now, news got to Naomi that the Lord had begun providing for his people in Bethlehem. So she decided to return to Bethlehem, and at this point, she told her daughter-in-laws that the situation had changed in her country and she wanted to go back, and she insisted to part company with them. Orpah agreed and kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth insisted on going with Naomi. So we pick up from Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 to 17. I read from the New King James Version. It says, But Ruth said, "Entreat me not to leave you or to turn back from following after you. For wherever you go, I will go, and wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried." Amen. Now, I just want us to quickly look at 5 criteria to kingdom relationships from these 2 verses. The aspect of destination. Ruth said, "Where you go, I will go." Now, always have your purpose in mind when it comes to relationship. Your purpose in mind will help you make the right choices about whom to be in relationship. Where are you going? And also ask yourself, where is the person going to? Amen. She said, "Where you lodge, I will lodge." Let's look at the aspect of location. By location, we mean physical location, intellectual location, spiritual, financial, and the list continues. I want to encourage you to set attainable goals in these areas to move you to the next level. Where you are should not be the same place you remain many years from now. Always remember that you can soar higher. What plans do you have on the ground to move you higher? Now, the kingdom third criteria to kingdom relationship is the aspect of companion. Who do you plan to keep company as you journey? Ruth said, "Your people shall be my people." Amen. It is commonly said that if you must travel far, consider traveling light. Choose your crowd. Enjoy being alone. Amen. Always remember that although alone, you are not lonely. The 4th aspect is the aspect of fellowship. Ruth said, "And your God will be my God." Who is God to you? Do you know him? Do you just know about him? What are your priorities when it comes to fellowship with him? Is it something that you profess, or do you actually make him center of your lifestyle? As you consider this about your life, also consider this about the life of the person you're getting in relationship with. And the last thing is sacrifice. Ruth said, "Where you die, I will die." Now, we are not looking at physical death. I want us to look at death to self, to personal needs, to selfishness. It is never a good idea to get into relationship with someone who is selfish. It has everything to do with your attitude, especially the attitude of selfishness. Choose not to be selfish and encourage those around you not to be selfish either. Selfishness is a veil that covers you like no other. We cannot overemphasize this truth. So, talking about the 5 criteria to kingdom relationship, we're looking at the aspect of destination, location, companion, fellowship, and sacrifice. Now, as you ask yourself these questions and evaluate yourself at the same time, do likewise for the person you plan to get in relationship with. Do so wisely. I must reiterate that these principles are universal and it is not specific to any relationship. It is applicable to all relationships. Amen.